Hello, my yogi friends. My name is Natasha. Welcome to Creative Flow. We have a power yoga class with creative sequencing spread out throughout. Have fun with movement, listen to your body, move in ways that feel good for you, intuitive moving. Modify if you need to, or amplify, take breaks. You can always hit pause. You might need some blocks today. A yoga mat, a little bit of space around you. I'm working in a tight area, so just do the best you can with me if you're in a tight area as well, and maybe some water. All right, meet me in what's called a turtle shell. We're gonna bring our feet out, bend your knees, and wrap your arms. Maybe your hands grab your opposite ankle, and then tuck your chin in. You might rest your chin in between your knees or your eyes to your knees. However you feel comfortable here, taking a moment to let go of our surroundings and come into the present moment. Relaxing the muscles in the face, try to soften the forehead, the eyebrows, the jaw, and the tongue. Allow the shoulders to float away from the ears, the spine to round, and it's just a sense of surrender and heaviness in the body as you let go. Letting go of distractions around you and in your mind, expectations on your body, on your practice, and judgment on your body and on your practice. Moving in ways that feel good for you today. And if you get lost, no worries. Just jump back in when you can, and like I said, just have a playful mindset. Some things might be confusing, but just do the best you can, and you can always repeat the class at another time. Deep breath in through the nose, big sigh out through the mouth, like you're fogging that hot breath on a mirror. Inhale deep, expanding through the body, belly, sides, and back, and then sigh. If you have a clear passage through the nose, you can do Ujjayi pranayama breathing. Nose breathing, inhale. And exhale deeply. Engage the core as you push the air out of the nose. Feel the shrinking and corseting of the ribs, and the core activates. And then we expand on your inhale, trying to match your inhale to your exhale and really elongate, draw out that breath. Listen to the sound of your exhale, the ocean or the wind. Beautiful. All right, bring your hands to your shins. We're gonna cat the back and lean back until your elbows straighten. Reaching right under the knees. Puffing out through the back of the heart. Like a bicep curl, bend your elbows towards your ribs and pull your heart through. Shoulders back, gaze up. Exhale, cat curl. Inhale, cow, back bend. 2 more. Follow the breath. Bend and straighten the elbows. 1 more round. And lift. Nice job. Go ahead and bring the soles of your feet together and come into butterfly. You can grab onto your feet in a bind and let your heavy head take you further into your fold. So no judgment on how tight your hips are feeling or your spine. Just try to actively press the knees away from the body towards the mat, and your heart just heavy towards the ground with the weight of your head taking you deeper into the stretch. Good. Go ahead and take your elbows and maybe grab onto your ankles and see if you can pry the knees a little further apart. Good. Again, just listening to the body, never forcing anything. Perfect. Sit up nice and tall, little neck release. Head, side, forward, and side, lingering in any sticky spots, circling. Let's take a little twist here. Right hand across left thigh, and your left hand can press into the back of the mat or just under your shoulder, fingertips or palm. Keeping the grip on your left thigh, take that back hand into a side stretch, reaching over towards your right knee, stacking your elbow over your ear and kind of leaning, and spiral out. Switch sides, left hand across right thigh and right hand behind your back. Lengthen and twist. Keeping the connection of your left hand, just reach your right arm over, leaning away and feeling the right side body. And a big breath here, trying to stack your elbow over your ear and come on back. All right, we got some hip stacks. First, go ahead and bring your palms behind you and stick your chest out right in front. Pull your right knee to meet your left knee, your feet stack, and back to butterfly. And your left knee will stack over your right knee will stack over your left knee, and we'll open out. Shedding hairs here. Good. Stack and straddle, stack your butterfly. All right, let's try that without hands. So we'll need to engage the core a little bit here. Stack and open, and stack and open. 2 more times. Stack, butterfly, stack, and butterfly. A fun little option to try. Maybe you try to lean your body weight forward, your shoulders forward, and briefly pick up your sit bones. You might feel like you're bouncing, or you might get a moment there where you hold it. Nice job. Keep your left knee stacked over to your right this time, and then lift your knee back and forth. So we're gonna swing our knee behind us, squeeze hamstring, glute, obliques, and tuck your knee in and away. In and away. 1 more. In, nice strong abdominals, and away. Then drop that foot. Your left hip is internally rotating, and your right knee is your hip is externally rotating. Gently press down on your thighs, and we'll circle sweep our right hand behind us. Lift onto both sets of shins, trying to roll onto the tops of your feet. You can cradle your head with your left hand as you push your heart up and your hips forward. Nice stretch here in the hip flexors. Sweep back to seated. You could try to lift up into this balance on both shins here and come back. All right, spin your knees on up and other way. We'll lift up through the spine and then lift the knee as you stack. Spiral back and stack, or even beyond the stack. So glute squeeze back, knee in front of the bottom knee, back and forth. 3, squeeze, nice strong obliques, hamstring glutes. 1 more, abs are working, and then stack and land on both sit bones. Try to drop into the right and gently press into your thighs, feeling the internal and external rotation of the hips. Sweep your left hand behind you and elevate, little shin box, wild thing. You could cradle your head, stretching the chest and shoulder and feeling the hip flexors and the quad on the right side especially. Good. And sit. And then maybe trying to lift up onto your shins. Hopefully your knees are padded. If you have sensitive knees, you can always skip things or pad up your joints. Good. Bring it back down and back to your bent knees, flat feet. Go ahead and lift up through the right leg like a modified boat pose, stretching into the hamstrings. You could give it a gentle tug. And then can you let go? Abdominal roll down and up, waking up the core even more. Point and roll. Exhale, lift and flex. 1 more. Point and roll. Tuck your chin. Exhale, lift and flex. Bring your hands behind your back. Cross your right ankle over your left quad. And you might need to lift your hips to make that happen, however you need, or use your hands to make that happen. All right, from here, you're in figure 4. You're just gonna try to shine your heart towards your ankle bone. And then you can rock your baby here, rocking your hips and foot side to side. We'll take a reverse tabletop with the figure 4 leg. Squeeze your glutes, Shoulders pushing down, heart pressing up. Good, and sit again. All right, maybe a little deeper. And then this right foot is gonna plant down to the left side of your mat, maybe off your mat on the mat, off on the floor, and then drop into that right sit bone. Half Lord of the Fish, and we'll take a gentle twist towards the top of your mat, twisting towards the right. So I'm not mirroring you, just listen to the cues. Lengthen, inhale. Exhale, pull the belly in, drop through the right sit bone and twist a little deeper. Okay, from here, we're gonna spin to the back of your mat, bring your hands down, and step on the right foot and drag both knees under your hips. So just kind of walk there to a tabletop facing the back of your mat. Moving through some cat-cow, round the spine, push your mat forward, squeeze the belly. Inhale, lift head, chest, elbow, and pull the mat back. Exhale, really exaggerate your cat-cows. And press into all 10 fingers, spread those fingers, and give me a nice grip here. Good, let's take our palms upside down, and we're gonna take fists and flat palm as best you can if you're comfortable here. You can do this one at a time. Close, open, or meet your fingers like you're just flapping wings here. Right, spread your fingers, bring them back, forward, tuck your toes and hover. Now you're in a hovering table and you're gonna bounce a few times. And we're gonna take our knees from side to side, twist to the right, twist to the left, twist to the right, twist to the left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your right hand to the center of your mat, turn towards your left side and back home. So we essentially made a circle there, and it doesn't matter if you went the wrong way, it's okay. All right, we're back at the top of the abdominal boat pose. Left leg is up. Flex point, maybe pull the thigh towards your chest, or however flexible you are in this moment. Just breathe there, no force. See what you got in this moment. Engage your quads to lengthen your hamstrings. Now, abdominal roll. Round the spine, try to take it down one vertebrae at a time. And then exhale, tuck your chin. You can swing your leg forward to counterbalance and help you. Then flex at the top. Point and roll. Exhale, lift and flex. One more. Point and roll down the vertebrae. Head soft landing. Exhale, tuck and roll and flex. Bring your hands behind you, fingers point backwards, and cross your ankle, and just adjust accordingly. You can flex the toes back, try to push your chest towards your ankle bone, that side of the calf here, and just keep charging, feeling your, especially your left hip in external rotation. You can rock from side to side. And we're gonna lift our hips up for that reverse table with the figure 4 leg. Hips up, chest up, neutral neck, or you could drop it if you feel safe there. And then work on that hip just rotating out. Come back to seated. This left foot is going to spin to your right and plant it down off your mat. Then rock until your left sit bone finds the earth, and stack your shoulders over your hips. Start to spin towards the front of your mat, towards your left. Hook your right elbow maybe. Lengthen. Inhale, exhale, twist. Pull the belly in and rotate. Try to look behind you. Try to soften through that left hip, dropping your sit bone towards the earth. And then we'll spiral behind us for the cat-cow facing the back. Plant your hands down and walk onto your knees under the hips. This time let's do some barrel circles to the right 3 times. And then reverse to the left. You can sink and bend your elbows, get your shoulders and neck involved. And neutral, tuck those toes under. Yeah, this time just sitting on the heels into the fingertips. A couple rocks forward and back before we do our Hovering table, preparing wrists. Now lift off the knees. Little bounces, pull the belly in, push the shoulders down. Now twist it out, left, right, left, right. You can go faster, slow. Keep the knees low. Good, now hold the knees to the right. Bring your left hand to the middle and then keep just rotating back to your seat. All right, meet me in Malasana. We're gonna step on the feet and maybe you can do this without hands or just use your hands to get there. Another little wrist release. Take big circles here. All right, so I wanna get us facing the front of our mat and we're gonna do a little jump back to plank. Spread your fingers, come onto your tippy toes and fingertips. Plant your hands and heels down if you can and jump back to high plank. Push the shoulders down, squeeze the belly, tuck your tailbone, rock forward and back. Tippy toes, ball of the foot, ball, tiptoe, 3, 2, rocking plank, and 1, back to the knees. All right, walk it into your tabletop again. Now we're gonna take our right leg lateral of the hip, and I'm gonna have you rock to your left heel and spin your toes up, and then rock to your hands. Lift your right leg up, abduction. One more time. Rock back, toes up, maybe forehead to mat. Rock forward, abduct. All right, tense your right fingers and give me 4 more leg raises to the side of your hip. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring your right hand down and take your left hand to the base of the skull, twist it open, and left elbow towards right thumb. Open, close. Twist to your left, turn to your right, 1 more. Open this time. We're gonna thread the needle, reach your left arm up, under your right arm, left fingers to right toes, spin your gaze upward. Right arm up over the shoulder, give me another wrist circle. And then maybe a wrap your hand behind your back. Take some breaths as you spin a little bit deeper into that twist. And again, only moving in ways that feel good. A little bit of discomfort's okay. We don't want pain. If we feel pain, we stop. From here, we're sitting behind your left heel. That's behind you. Make sure it's not tucked under. Scoop yourself and just go ahead and sit. Now swoop your right hand to your left knee and your left arm over for your side bend. Big breath here as you let gravity take over and deepen the side stretch. And we'll go ahead and spin your left fingers behind you at the diagonal and come onto that left shin. That kneeling wild thing again, this time just on one knee. You can cradle your head and lift your heart. Beautiful. Spiral back to your seat, bring your hands in front of you, and we're gonna sweep our right leg behind us. You might need to scoop forward if you don't have room behind you, or you just maneuvered yourself to pigeon. Take a couple breaths here. We're gonna rock our hips, try to square them forward. You can bend and straighten the elbows, working on a gentle back bend. Deeply feeling the back hip flexor and quad, and still that external rotation, this time on the left hip. Beautiful. All right, from here we just repeat that warm-up sequence. Hands down, walk back to your table, and take your left foot lateral. All right, rock back on your heel, flex your left toes, forehead to the mat, squeeze your quad, and rock forward. Lift your left leg. Abduct as high as you can. Sink back, little child's pose with abducted leg. Tabletop, abduct. All right, to make it a little easier, bring your left fingertips down and then start your leg raises to the side. Squeeze it up, push it down. Squeeze it up, push it down. 2 more. Leg lift, lateral. Leg lift, lateral. Plant that foot down, switch hands. Right hand behind the skull, rotate your right elbow up, and your right elbow to left thumb. You'll have to bend your elbow a little bit. Open, so we get a little bit of a push up, and a big twist through the spine. Good, twist it open, And close. This time we'll hold it open and expand your arm and thread your arm. Thread the needle, drop onto your right shoulder and side of the head. Lift your left arm over the shoulder. Give another circling of the wrist and then sweep your hand behind your back. Continue to spiral towards the back of your head as you gaze up, spinning your heart up, but just being mindful of the neck. Deep breath. Make sure your back toes are not tucked under so we can sweep our butt right behind our heel. Go ahead and slide into that seated position. Left hand to right knee, and we travel to our side bend, letting gravity take us down and just exploring. It could be a subtle bounce, some wiggling. When you feel like you can't breathe, you've gone too far, you should be able to control that breath. Deepen it through the shapes. All right, right hand's gonna slip behind your hip and we'll elevate onto the shin. Adjust your foot as needed. It could slide forward to make it a little easier. And you could try to sweep your heart up. And as you sit back, you swing your body forward and your left leg behind you. If you need space like me, I'm gonna crawl forward to stay on my mat. All right, go ahead and just breathe through your pigeon pose. Rolling your shoulders back. Maybe bending and straightening the elbows, gradually deepening your back bend, your hip flexor and quad stretch, sinking into that front hip. Beautiful job. Now let's take a few knees, chest, chin to wake up the body for chaturanga. Spread your fingers below you, tuck your back toes, and step into plank. Knees, chest, chin, elbows to ribs, plank. Knees, chest, chin, zip. Knees, chest, chin. Press into your fingers, maybe a full chaturanga if it's there for you. Toes back, heart through, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, high heels and low heels, pedal. Sway your hips from side to side. Spread those fingers. We have more abduction. We're gonna slide our right toes up to sky and split. Curtsy, the top of your right foot is going to tap your left bottom heel. Look at your knees and make a diamond. Curtsy, abduct. Take your right foot to the right side like we did in the tabletop. We have a curtsy and we open up the hip to the side. You might pop onto your right fingers for more space or just push into both hands. Curtsy, abduct. All right. This right foot's gonna slither through the middle and sweep forward for fallen triangle. Meet me here. Circle the wrist if you need to. We're gonna sit down. Slowly drop your hips to the mat and keep the right hand down. Reach your left fingers towards your right toes. You might be up here, only at your knee, or you might be able to really fold in. Working on dropping your left sit bone back down. Good. To come back to fallen triangle, swivel or swing both sets of toes forward and scoop up onto the or off of the hips, onto the hand and foot. Beautiful. All right, from here, we're gonna drag the right foot back, maybe halfway. Step over it. Left foot steps to the front of the mat, and then right foot steps to Malasana, and your right hand is going to spiral back. All right, right fingers reach back as you lift the hips to crab reach. Puffing up through the heart, squeezing those hips up, engaging through the back body, and spiral back to Malasana. All right, give your wrists a nice little circle, some love here. If you need a sip of water or a break, there's always that pause button. And we'll go through that sequence on the other side, meeting me in plank. Hands down, jump back. Chaturanga or knees, chest, chin for 3. Elbows to ribs for 2. 1, upward facing. Heart forward, shoulders down. Exhale, downward facing dog. Connect to the breath. Hips sway, high heels and low heels, maybe little hula hoop circles of the hip. Couple to the right, couple to the left. And we flow. Your left leg is going to reach up into a split, chest to toes, head heavy. Remember the curtsy. The top of your foot taps your bottom heel and you part the knees. Plie, abduct, curtsy, abduct. Be sure to press into your fingertips. Strong shoulders, strong outer hip and glute. One more curtsy, abduct. Now leg swings under and forward. Fallen triangle. Circle out that wrist. Push the heart forward and up. Lower carefully onto your hips. Keeping the left hand grounded, reach your right fingers to your left toes while trying to drop your right sit bone down. Only go as far as it feels safe for you, and explore that with subtle activation and releasing. Subtle wiggles and movement with the breath. Come on up to come back to fallen triangle. All 10 toes turn forward and we scoop up through the hips. The left foot is going to drag back. It could be halfway, it could be a little more, like a side plank. The right foot's gonna pull up and over. And then the left foot goes where the left hand is, and you drop into Malasana. Good. Take that left hand and now swing it back for crab reach. Hips up, heart up. And spiral back through Malasana. All right, give your wrists a nice little circle, and we're gonna come all the way to standing, but first let's drop our head, lift our hips, Uttanasana, forward fold, let your head be heavy. You could wrap your hands behind the base of the skull. You could soften your knees and melt your belly on your thighs. Maybe some rocking front to back and spiraling side to side like a pendulum. Beautiful. Let your hands fall, subtle bounces and ragdoll all the way up. Whew. All right, any little adjustments to hair, clothes, body, or some water? Okay, how are we doing? I hope I am not cutting my head off in the video. We are gonna start the sequence at the down dog split, curtsy abduct. We'll go through that part quickly, and then we'll add on some standing sequence work. And then we have another little ending section. So a few more rounds, a few more sections to go. And then look out for just the flow, where we take the whole entire flow and just fluidly dance it out. No stopping, no breaks, no explaining things. We just, hopefully you've taken this class and then you just have fun with the flow. Meet me in mountain pose, tuck your tailbone, grow a little taller, press into your toes. Inhale, back bend, heart up, hips forward, squeeze your glutes, tilt, and swan dive, fold. Try to really pull the belly towards the thighs and their head heavy. On your halfway lift, crouch. Look forward, maybe lift your heels and jump back. You can jump to plank or to chaturanga directly. Toes back, heart through, up dog. Exhale, downward facing, feet close together, right toes up, split. We have our curtsy, abduct, curtsy, abduct. Now swing the right leg under and forward, fallen triangle. Put the hips down, keep the right hand where it is, left fingers, right toes, fold, and lift. Turn your toes forward, lift your hips again. Drag your foot back, hop over it, step over it, and your right foot comes down. All right, I'm gonna have your left hand take over for the crowd reach. And moving on from here, as you swirl forward, your right foot's gonna step back. Swirl forward, right foot steps back, lunge. Add your twist, twisting lunge. Take a breath here. Shift onto your front foot, look down, And see if you can wiggle your hand to the big toe edge of your foot. Grab onto the hamstring curl, maybe lift the knee, but keep your bottom knee bent. Give it a little tug there. Step back, lunge. Right arm forward, left arm back, reaching lunge. Exalt your lunge, start to tilt it backwards. Maybe your left hand finds your hamstring or your thigh. Puff up through the chest, reach up and back. Deepen the breath as it feels constricted. All right, our reaching warrior 3. We're gonna tilt forward and keep those reaching arms. Flex your back foot. Now switch arms and open the hip very slowly for half moon. Woo! Open, stack your shoulders, your ribs, your hips, you're floating. Now soften the knee just to land your back foot and find Trikonasana, triangle. You can find your hand on your shin or you could collect a block. Not holding shapes too long in this flow. Or you have a couple of rounds of breath to work on stacking. From here, bend your front knee and spiral back for reverse warrior. You can wiggle your feet a little further on this one, bending into that front knee. You got it. Now both arms reach back, bend and straighten. Reverse triangle, reaching up over straight legs. Whew, how we doing? Couple more shapes to make. All right, as you lift up, shoulders stack, come onto the front foot and the right foot's gonna spin over to the left. All right, so we might remove that block here. Your right leg is crossed off the mat, your left foot's in the middle of the mat, and we're gonna reach up and over. Left hand grabs right wrist for a nice side stretch. Try to keep your neck neutral so it's kind of a diagonal as you push your hips to the right, spiral your left hip forward, and really feel that right side body. From here, fold halfway over, airplane arms. Maybe your belly and your thigh meet, and we're gonna try to squeeze your inner thigh so much that we float your right pinky off the mat. You could bring your hands to your quad for some leverage. Squeeze that leg and hold it up, working your inner thigh adductors for 4, 3, 2, a little pulse if you'd like, 1. Now step back a couple of feet and lower into pyramid. You are straightening your knees, swiveling right hip forward, left hip back, and just falling over that front leg. Big hamstring stretch. Big breath in, big breath out. All right, you are welcome to take some of what I'm offering. So just listen to your body. Go ahead and gather up your blocks and frame them with your left toes. We're gonna come into a standing split to start. You could let your fingers curl over the front edge of the block. Shift onto the left foot and reach your right toes up. Doesn't matter how high, just activate glute, hamstring, pressing into the toes as you reach the right toes up. Head is heavy. We're gonna try to slither this right foot through and under to pistol. Sit your hips back, push down into your blocks. You can either come into a toe stand if your ankles don't allow, or pistol. So if you can drop onto your heel, you can do that. You can even sit for a moment. Maybe a counter stretch on the wrists, or just give yourself a nice big hug. All right, coming up is a little harder. It's almost a swinging action of a jump back. You want to swing your shoulders forward as you lift your hips and try to fit your right leg through. You might need to bend your knee, but we'll try to keep it straight. Now your blocks will be helpful if they're backed up by your hips. Push down into the block. You also have 3 settings, so you could make the blocks higher, which will be easier. Lift, rock. When your shoulders are ready to pull forward, you push down into the hands, round the spine, and step back to your pyramid. Try that one more time. Standing split. Move the blocks forward if you like. Tilt, 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 squeeze. Slice through, pistol or toe stand. Slide your blocks back. Ready? Push your shoulders forward, round the spine, and slice that foot back to pyramid. How did you do? All right, counter stretch those wrists if you'd like. Blinking out your fingers. Nice work. We're gonna step back through vinyasa. I'll put these blocks in front. All right, step your right foot back to the ball of the foot, and then your left foot meets as you bend your elbows. Chaturanga, upward facing, hold it here, and bend your elbows. Find a quick child's pose, and we're going to snake to the belly. So hover your elbows, start to pull your hips forward. Find the face in the middle of your forearms, and then slither neck, chest, belly. Beautiful. Adding on this last piece here. Locust, squeeze, using your back. Right ear can land. Shoulders fall heavy. Take a breath into the back. Two options, you can take one or both. We'll take our chin forward. Bend your knees this time, skydiver, lift, or turn it into bow if you can grab the outsides of your feet or ankles. Slowly come out, bring your left ear down. Drop your shoulders, palms up. Breathe into the back. Bring your chin forward. Slide your elbows out under your shoulders for Sphinx. And we're gonna work on frog pose. So, very mindfully, lift onto your toes and then start to just walk your knees outside your hips. So I know this might not be super comfortable because your knees will be off your mat. So if you need to adjust sideways or just grab something to put under your knees, you are welcome to put a blanket in a T shape so that your knees are not on the floor. Either way, spend a couple breaths in your frog. Knees wide, sinking into those hips like you're working on your middle splits. All right, you can continue to hold on the elbows, or you could try to swing your elbows out and lower your chest to the mat. You can slide your hands like chaturanga because we're gonna try some push-ups here. Lifting and bending, chest high and low, listening to your body. I want you to flex your toes, lift, and this time we're gonna rock our hips back and roll onto our feet. Walk your hands back and meet me in goddess. Did you make it there? Knees and toes wide, slouch into your shoulders, bounce, swing into some twists, and then gather up your leg strength by stacking your shoulders over your hips. Bring your hands behind your head. We have some side bending dips, right elbow to thigh, left elbow to thigh, right elbow to thigh. I'm falling backwards. Left elbow, two more, right, oblique crunch, left, hold it. We get to come out of those legs. Ooh, all right. This time, as you sink into your goddess, I want you to reach your arms to the diagonal. So we'll reach to the right, bend deep, and we'll pull it in. Reach to the left, and squeeze it in. Reach to the right, adding a little more weight to the side dip, so it might be harder, but we get to come out of those legs, so that part's easier. Reach and bend, reach and bend. All right. One more goddess. Hold and pulse. 4, 3, 2, widen your knees, tuck your tailbone. 1. Turn your toes in, straighten your knees, reach your hands behind your back. We got a wide leg fold. Heart reaches down, head falls down, arms squeeze towards the top of your mat. Pigeon toe your heels out a little bit, toes in, and then just explore. Gravity. Deepening. The more you squeeze your shoulder blades together, the more space your arms have to fall. Pull your heels apart. And when you're ready, drop your arms down. All right, so we worked on snake from the kneeling position. We're gonna try dive bomber from kind of a wide leg down dog. You can heel toe your feet just to the mat, and then see if you have the upper body strength to bend your elbows. And the next time, bend your elbows and slide your body through. Your head pulls close, your neck, your chest. You might drag your feet back and your belly lands. Beautiful job. Let's go up dog and downward facing dog. And making your way to the top of the mat for our second side. Bend your knees, get some bounce. Do you want to jump forward? Do you want to walk forward? Do you want to try to catch a moment on your hands? Any shape if you have arrived in a handstand. And meet me in a forward fold. Counter stretch your wrists if you need, or even step on those hands with your feet. Gorilla, let your head fall heavy. Big breath, release your hands, little bounces. And when you're ready, you can ragdoll on up. All right, again, all the adjustments, the water, the pausing if you need to, fixing your hair. All right, take a moment here and we'll do that whole sequence on the second side. Always a lot of movement, a lot of sequencing. So hopefully that's your thing. I know I'm not for everyone because some people like simplicity. I enjoy the complex movement where it feels like we're dancing and finding creative poses that we can arrive at. Always trying to figure out where can we take the shape in a unique way. All right, let's move again. Find your mountain, tuck your tailbone, grow a little taller, drop your shoulders away, tone your quads and your glutes. Inhale to back bend. Try to use that gravity to pull you up and back. And swan dive to your fold. Again, using that gravity to pull you in. Halfway lift, crouch. Look forward, jump back, chaturanga or plank. Upward facing dog. And downward facing dog. Feet close, left foot splits up. We have our curtsy, knees part, diamond, abduct to the side, curtsy, abduct, leg swing, two fallen triangle, across and up. Sit your hips down, left hand stays put, left fingers or right hand to left toes, dropping into your right sit bone, and we rise. As you lift, spin your toes forward, swing your hips up again, drag your left foot back, right foot steps over, then your left foot and your right hand, Malasana, right hand reaches back to crab reach. As we spin forward, the left foot jumps back. Spin forward, left foot back, left hand down. Lunge, twisting lunge. Reach your right arm up. Scissor your inner thighs, knee in, hip back. Look down, hamstring curl, try to find your foot and pull it up. Big toe edge of the foot, knee reaching behind you. Right knee is soft as well, bent as well. Step back, change your hands. Left arm reaches forward, right arm pulls back. Reach forward and tilt back. Exalt it, lift it up. Right hand finds your back leg, wherever it wants to get to. Puff out through the chest. Keep bending front knee, straightening back knee, reaching back. Now, warrior three, keeping reaching arms. Left hand forward, right arm back, flex the foot, squeeze the belly. Switch hands, sweeping. Right arm down, left arm up, hip opens. Maybe you find a block, or you just hover. Hover above the ground. Focus on something that's not moving. Triangle is next. Step back and find your shin or gather up a block for Trikonasana. Triangle, stacking shoulders, ribs, hips. Tuck your tailbone. Try to lift that left hip. Connect to the breath. Try not to just sink into the bottom hand. So if you're on the block or off, pulling your arms apart, not being heavy at the bottom end. As you lift up, we're gonna bend the front knee. You might hop back a little bit for reverse warrior. Reaching up and back as you bend the knee. Connect to the breath, finding your edges. As you lift your left arm, straighten the front knee. Reverse that triangle shape. Press into the feet. Whew. You got it. Now lift your body and step forward. Left foot slices to the right. And your right foot can wiggle to the middle of your mat. Square your hips. Good. Gather up your arms. Right hand grabs left wrist. Give it a gentle tug. Diagonal neck. Finding your head right in between your arms. Push your hips to the left. While pulling your right hip forward, squeeze through the inner thighs. Halfway fold, airplane arms. Now here's where we're gonna really use that left inner thigh, your adductors. Take your pinky toe and try to lift it off the mat, even if it's like a half an inch. Fight for it, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. You could also bring your hands to your thigh for a little bit of leverage to push down and squeeze up through that inner thigh for 3, for 2, for 1. Step back a couple of feet, drop into pyramid. Scissor the left hip forward, right hip back. Let gravity take over and you could gather up your blocks. Heavy head. Relaxed shoulders. Moving into the standing split. Take your blocks under the shoulders, but the front of the block lines up with your right front toes. Now split. Left leg up, head is heavy, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. All right, slicing the left foot through. Just do the best you can. Bend your right knee, come into a toe stand, or drop your heel, or maybe sit. Sitting for a moment, you can just give yourself a nice big hug. Connect to the breath, maybe counter stretch the wrists or shake them out. All right, going back up is a little harder. If it doesn't work for you, a little cheat would be maybe just to take one hand down so you can lean and thread the foot back. You'll have a little more space or higher blocks. All right, lift onto your right foot and practice pendulum, hips back, shoulders forward. Swing, swing, and lift. Drag your heel back. Squeegee that foot if you have to. And then back to your pyramid. Move the blocks forward. Split. Slice through. Pistol, maybe hold. And then try to press back and step back. Pyramid. Nice work. Remove those blocks. All right, this time, if you would like to practice a couple handstands, instead of just stepping right back to plank, you could try to slip that right foot back and do some jump switches. Press into your shoulders and fingers, kick up and switch your legs at the top. Hips up, switch feet. Hips up, switch feet. If you can't get your hips up, it might look like this, where your hips are just low. And if you get too much momentum, open the hips and do a cartwheel out. When you're ready, at any point, try to rock your elbows bent and step back into chaturanga. Up dog and a child's pose. Whew. Take a breath here as you take a moment before we go into our last sequence. You can rock your hips, circle your wrists. We'll try that snake through, dive bomber on the knees, so you're prepared when we do it up on the toes. And maybe we'll try a couple more for fun. All right, Bring your hands forward. As you lift your hips, bend your elbows, feet behind knees, slither each part of the belly, the head, neck, belly to the ground. Here we go, locust, back extension. Breathe. Left ear lands, palms up, shoulders heavy. Okay, we have skydiver or bow, or both. Big breath in, soften. Bring your chin forward. Bend your knees and lift. If you can get a hold of your ankles or your feet, go into bow and lift, assisted. Squeezing, using your feet for leverage to lift. When you're done, slowly drop your right ear, palms up, shoulders heavy, feet land. All right, so if you didn't notice, back work is some sneaky cardio, really gets your heart rate up. So just take some breaths there. Feel your breath. You feel your heart beating on the mat. All right, from here, slide your elbows out for Sphinx. If you want a little core plank here, you can tuck your toes and zip up to a forearm plank briefly for 3, or rest in your cobra for 2. Nice tuck, tailbone, shoulders strong for 1, and go ahead and drop your hips back down. All right, one at a time, or just however you want to get into your frog. Lift your hips and walk your knees as wide as you can. All right, and like I said, I know it's a little tricky because it's not super comfortable to have your knees on the ground. So just see what you can do, or if you need to turn or pad up, do that. Take some breaths here. When you're ready, slice your elbows to the side. If you can, drop your chest. And then just work on letting those hips soften through that tensing up that happens when our bodies are trying to stop something. So breathing through that, never forcing. And slide your hands to your chest. We'll do some push-ups. Straighten, bend, straighten, bend, straighten, bend. Flex your feet. Lift your heart, rock your hips back, and press onto your feet. Now walk your hands back and float your body up into goddess. You can stack your hands on your quads and sink a little bit, bounce a little bit. You can take some gentle twists. We are almost done here. We're gonna gather up our strength and find our goddess. Pull your shoulders over your hips, pry your knees apart, tuck your tailbone. Good. Now, bringing your hands behind your head, elbows wide. Let's dip to the left, to the right, staying low in those legs. To the left, side crunch. Maybe elbow towards your thigh or your hip. Couple more. And stand. All right, this time, as you bend, you reach to the left. Straight arms, reach to the left and stand. Reach to the right and stand. You can bring your hands behind your head. Or you could bring your hands to heart center. Reach it over, give me a couple more. Challenge that edge, working your obliques and those legs. One more set. Take it to the side, to the top, to the side, to the top. Hold your goddess for one more breath. You can cactus your elbows and your knees. Get deep. 3, 2, feel the burn. 1, lift, turn your toes forward, bind your hands behind your back, and fold it down. All right, you could try to widen your feet and get your head to the ground. So just hang out here and work on your chest expansion. If you want something a little more advanced, you could absolutely do a headstand, a forearm stand here, or, haven't done this one in ages, you could try to roll into a shoulder stand, being very mindful, only if your head reaches the ground. And you're gonna split your legs pretty wide. And you can try, I don't know if I can catch this, so don't judge me. We're gonna try to slowly tuck your chin and roll onto your back and maybe catch a shoulder stand. All right, take a breath. If you went in any way you need to come out, do a little sideways back roll. Shake out your head. Give your head and neck time to lengthen out if you did anything that was compressing, like a shoulder stand or a headstand. All right, walk your feet into the mat width, and let's try to walk our hands out for dive bomber, snaking. All right, elbows hover, hands straight. Hover and take your body through. Up dog, try it again. Maybe walk your feet a little closer and your hips a little higher to make it harder. Snake, each part of the body slithers. Up dog, let's try rocking up dog. Right hand to the middle, stack your hips. Lift your hips and sink. Bring your toes back. Up dog, swinging to your left. So you're still above the mat, but you're slouched. And then you activate, and then you slouch. Good. Up dog, and child's pose. Woo! Circle out those wrists. A lot on the hands, so take your time to let that go. Beautiful job. All right, since we did those kick throughs from your split, if you'd like to try a jump through with me, I would recommend gathering up your blocks. We'll try that low asana to jump through, all right? If that's not in your practice, you can always skip it. We are essentially just going down for shavasana. So if you're still with me, let's try this. If not, just spend a couple of minutes in your pose of rest, in your restorative shape today. All right, so knees line up with your blocks. Elbows are gonna pull back by your sides, chaturanga elbows. You're gonna push the ground away, straightening your elbows, leaning all your weight into your hands, and then tucking your feet through. Inhale. Exhale, press into your hands, lift your hips, and then pull your feet through. Maybe L-sit and release. Anything you want to continue to work on there, that's a really tough move. If you're working on your jump back, remember the pendulum of rocking your shoulders forward so that your feet can slip back. And then it's even a little harder because you need to bend your elbows. So just to practice, if you're with me, knee, block up towards your knees, lift, start to try and swing. When your shoulders go forward, bend your knees and push your feet back. I don't have space here. All right, practice as long as you'd like. And when you meet me, when you've got enough of the jump throughs, meet me in staff pose to forward fold. Take a big breath into the back. Lift up to seated. Lean back until you can lift your legs up to boat. Nice work. All right, so you have the choice to go into your resting shavasana, or if you want to do a little quick crow series before we finish, pull your knees into your armpits, hands forward, tuck your heels, round your spine, squeeze your belly, rock onto your back, do the same thing, pull your knees into your armpits, shoulder blades rounding off the mat, hug your heels in, look at your hands. Momentum, back, little plow to crow pose on your hands, or a crow prep where you keep your toes down, pull your knees in, keep your toes down. Lean so far forward that maybe your feet want to float. For 3, 2, 1, rock back to boat. Find low boat. For 3, 2, and 1. All right. I'm gonna let you decide if you wanna do some twisting, some stretching, some bridges, some wheels, some anything. Possibilities are endless. Or go ahead and find your pose of rest. Any shape that's gonna be restorative for you. If you are in corpse pose, lift your chin, lift your shoulders, pull them away, lift your tailbone, tuck it under. Let your feet flop out, knees, hips. Soften through the face, the forehead, the eyebrows, the jaw, the tongue. And then I'm gonna let you sit in silence for a couple of minutes at least. Stay as long as you like, meditating, softening the body, the mind, your emotional and mental bodies, checking in with all parts of yourself, and allowing a softness, a relaxed surrender, letting go. All right, before I leave you, I just want to thank you so much. Thank you for spending this hour. I don't even know how long this class was, but spending time with me, flowing out with me. If you made it to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments so I know you did and I can thank you personally. Don't forget, if you want to become a member, it's $3 a month just to support my channel and help me out, help me grow. A like, a share, and a comment go a long way. And I truly thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thanks for being here, and I will see you really soon. Bye.